Man, I'm so glad they put this glider in. What a difference this makes. Can basically just go right there. Literally just landed on the place I needed to go to. Look at that.
I think this is where Kotaro wanted to test out his new arm. Even though he didn't say how exactly.
I think you know
I should
how.
let him know I'm around and find out. Hey, Kotallo. I'm by the Tremor Tusk site, where we agreed to meet. Want to test that new arm of yours?
I'll be there shortly. Thank you for waiting.
Maybe now you can tell me what we're doing here?
Not just yet. Follow me, please.
It's going to be an Apex Tremor Tusk now. Like, they've basically recovered
Someone's
it.
being awfully mysterious.
You took your sweet time telling me what you wanted to do to the bulwark. Consider this my revenge.
Fair enough.
You see, this is the kind of stuff that I love, man. When done right, for me, it almost always enhances the experience. Kotallo's been one of my favorites in this game. Especially as he's opened up a little bit more, so he's spent more time with the group and stuff. You can see that shell sort of coming off slowly.
This is it.
What am I looking at?
Oh, you'll see. Come.
Okay. So my guess was that the Tremor Tusk we killed is back with a vengeance, but... no.
Alright, talk to me, Kotallo.
I wish to test the arm on that. It has menaced the valley for some time. Killed more than a few of the Sky Clan. But no longer.
I'm honored to help.
Yo!
After you.
Nice, looking good.
Let's see how this thing likes the taste of metal.
Why does it only have like 4 fingers? It looks like one is deliberately missing.
Could freeze that machine.
So gonna again, I have some more. Wait, I've got no echo shells even in my stash. What the fuck? Oh, that sucks. Alright, let's lay a purge water trap. We'll start with that and then we'll just rush him.
No one is climbing that mountain. Not even me. Must to knock through right. I would need to fly to find out what happened to Farika.
Yeah, forget that. Focus on your quest now, dear. It's an advanced one too, so it's going to take nice damage, hopefully. I feel like it's going to get wrecked. Oh, are you kidding me? What? Come on, man. It's so close to it. Look at it. How much closer to the track do you want me to put it? That's some bullshit. And now I have to craft it again. You dismantle it, but you lose what you dismantled. Right, let's try this again. The power of editing. I still give myself one of these. Let's not underestimate this guy. But I think even one-on-one, we're pretty much okay against it. Okay, let's try this again. I swear to God. Oh, Kotallo's right there. I know, he wants to test the arm, I get it. But these are like my favourite kind of encounters where I can just sort of scan it out, figure out what some of its weaknesses are, plan for it, and then hopefully destroy it. Oh man, that was totally my fault. There you go, still going to run into it. Look at the way he's avoiding it, that's hilarious. What? How can you not trigger that off? That's a joke. He's like kicking it at this point. That's just wrong. There's no way it should be that sensitive. Literally got to run over it. There you go. God damn. Yeah, I'll let Kotallo do some of the work. I don't want to do everything. Yeah, they hit hard.
I'm not finished with you.
Oh, that helps.
Okay, Kotallo's not helping that much at this point. There you go. Ah. Wow. Scorchers are very powerful attackingly. And they're constantly bounding around again as well. They have no chill. See? See what I mean? A lot of double jumping and that kind of thing. So I'll go back to the easy method. Yeah, he's not doing too great. He's still trying to get used to that arm. I just can't, like... I don't have enough time to charge it up and aim at him. Okay, now he dies. Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say the new arm works fine.
Agreed.
Then why are you taking it off?
This is what I am now. What I overcame. Anything else feels... wrong. Like a disguise. I'll use the new arm when I need it, but the rest of the time, I will simply be myself.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
You have my thanks for doing this with me. Here. Something to mark our victory.
Thank you. I'll see you later then.
The 10 be with you, Aloy.
How can you have anything but respect for that man? He's such a legend. Because I was talking about before, like, I get the whole fact that, you know, he's such a strong, resilient guy and that he's overcome great adversity to you know, continue to be who he is and learn to live with and still be such a force even after he lost his arm. And so when he gets a new one, that whole, like, imposter syndrome, you know, feeling like this isn't really who I am, this isn't a part of my body, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But then I was like, well, you know, at the end of the day, you are objectively a better fighter with it. And this is not just your fight. This is you and your friends. And, you know, you're trying to save the world together. So the more useful you are to your group, the more you're going to benefit everybody and the greater chance of success for everyone. So you can't always just be too individualistic and be like, well, you know, feels like a disguise to me, so I'm just going to be, you know, single-handed for the entire thing. So his like compromise of being himself, but then when the time comes, if he does need to use his arm to help us in battle or to win the day, then he's willing to do that. I think that's a really mature and very respectable compromise. So, fair play to him, man.
Keep moving.
Just proves again why I'm a fan. Nice. So that didn't drag on too long as well. I'm pretty much just going to head straight back to the base at this point and just keep rolling. Is there anything else of interest around here? I don't think so. Let's go to this unknown shelter just in case we need it again. I couldn't fast travel there previously. I was expecting something a bit crazier, like a Apex Tremor Tusk or something like that, but that was a bit much.
Place to rest.
The Scorchers are still tough though. If there was 2 of them, if it was 2 on 2, I think there's a pretty strong chance I could have got KO'd. But I need echo shells, man. I'm missing quite a lot. Okay, back to base we go. Let's go to this one this time. Right. I guess again, let's just begin with Gaia to gain a bit of momentum, and then we'll talk to everybody. We did have another black box. Oh, sorry, not black box. We had another drone thing.
There we go. More data for the dome.
Only 2 so far.
I like this one.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Aloy, I know your experience in Thebes was unsettling, but we have a new problem.
Did something go wrong with Beta and the rig? Will we be able to transport you to Gemini?
The rig is complete. The problem is Hephaestus itself. It has accelerated its proliferation throughout the Cauldron network, increasing its power.
But with your sub-functions restored, we can still succeed, right?
Correct. But the net effect is that absorbing Hephaestus will take longer than previously calculated.
How long?
Even with Omega clearance, my current estimate is that the merge will take 35 hours.
And each hour increases the risk of detection by the Zeniths. Two cores. 2 overrides. What if the merge were carried out by 2 clones of Elizabeth Sobek, both armed with Omega clearance? How long then? Half the time?
Hephaestus would be unprepared for the simultaneous labor of 2 operators, in addition to obvious synergetic efficiencies. Calculating. It would reduce the merge time to approximately 4.5 hours.
Okay. Varl, it looks like we're gonna need Beta at Gemini. Do you think you can convince her?
I don't know, but I'll try.
What about our diversion? Are the pulse generators ready?
Only a final test remains. I am confident that if fired in proximity to other cauldrons, the pulses will mask our activities at Gemini from the zeniths.
Good. As long as Aaron can operate one without shooting himself in the face.
Aloy, you better get down here. Beta's in bad shape.
Okay.
Okay, so Gaia didn't consider the option of having 2 Elizabeth Sobeys do that, and it went from 35 hours down to 4.5. Fair enough. And also it just makes me think that, yeah, sure, okay, I like the idea of distracting them with multiple things, but Far Zenith surely powerful and advanced enough that they can probably have scouts at every single cauldron and simultaneously try to attack them all or something, I don't know. But we'll see how this is going to play out. Let's exhaust Gaia's conversation first.
Aloy, I believe Varl is still waiting for you, outside Beta's room.
I know. I just wanted to talk about something else first.
As you wish.
I still think it's a missed trick that for these conversations we're not allowed to have the background thing. We have to have this plain blue background, which is kind of annoying, but fair enough. Maybe there's new dialogue, that's why it's still highlighted.
The missing subordinate functions. What can you tell me about them?
Artemis rewilded
Yeah, so
the Earth.
we've heard this
Eleuthia
one.
was responsible for culturing a new Apollo was tasked in disseminating. Unfortunate, all archive.
Ted.
Yes, impulsive tendencies.
All 3 of the missing were. Do you still need them?
Restoring their empowering, unfortunately, attaining them in the
I guess our best shot at recovering them, but we'll need Hephaestus.
correct.
Okay, I guess it's just like a reminder. It's so hard. If it has been a while since you've been back here and having these conversations, you can't always remember if you've definitely had them or not.
How's Alva settling in?
As soon as she arrived, Alva was eager to study the data in the archive. A particular file soon caught her attention. Information about a machine assistant devoted to keeping living spaces neat and orderly. I informed her that once I am empowered with the abilities of Hephaestus, I may be able to design such a machine.
I'm sure she'll like that.
Okay. And this is, again, I'm assuming a repeat.
So our plan to capture Hephaestus. Let's go over it again.
As you wish. Thanks to Beta's test, we now know that Hephaestus will not.
Which is why I...
Correct.
Okay.
While you were gone, Beta constructed the transport rig
Yeah,
and
okay.
pulse generators.
It's slightly different, but the same thing, obviously.
When we get to Gemini, I will need to be installed on one of the facility's cores. The second core is for Hephaestus. Using Omega clearance will allow you to trap it.
And then you'll be able to absorb it.
Not quite. You will need to manually remove Hephaestus's malicious code before the merge.
How long will that take?
Because the work will be split between you and Beta, it will take approximately 4.5 hours.
And during that time, the others will create a distraction for us using the pulse generators, right?
Correct. They will each take position at a cauldron door and fire off their device. The energy surge should mask our activities until the merge is complete.
And then we'll have everything we need to defeat the Zeniths. Sounds like a plan.
So yeah, one thing that this reminded me of was that I was like, oh yeah, maybe we can go to Gemini together as a group and just like battle there and all that kind of stuff, but we have to split up to do it, so that's not going to happen. This... Oh, well, discoveries...
So I, found Thebes. What do you think Ted would have done if his life extension treatments had worked?
It seems he convinced himself it was his duty to guide future humans. Given the tribal nature of new humans, and his ability to use Omega clearance on the terraforming system, I imagine he would have convinced one or more tribes to worship him as their patriarchal deity.
Okay. Yep, glad that didn't happen.
That's all?
Aside from Gaia Prime and Thebes, there was one other underground facility that was sealed before the Pharaoh Plague reached it. Elysium. The place where Zero Dawn staff and their families went to live out their lives. Do you know what happened to it?
Elysium was designed to provide life support for 100 years. My data indicates the facility went offline well before then.
Did the Pharaoh Plague find them?
Unknown. My connection to the facility was abruptly severed.
I mean, my guess would be that the Far Zeniths obviously came from there. They were part of that group. Or at least some of them. Or maybe they were gone by then, I'm not sure, but maybe.
I should be going.
Goodbye, Aloy.
Yeah, still that weird thing with the subtitles where sometimes they have background appearing. I don't know. It's not a big deal, but strange. Okay. So, Beta's in bad shape.
I'm definitely not getting any of this.
I'll get these conversations done so that once we get return to the story, we can just completely continue with that.
There she is. Heard you had an interesting time at Thebes.
Maniacs, lava, what's not to like?
I'll remember that next time I go traveling.
At least I got what we needed to trap Hephaestus.
Good thing I got my gear ready then.
You look tired?
Ha! You never want to hold back, are you? I've just been making sure that I got everything down for this mission of yours. I wouldn't want to be the usual screw-up out there.
You'll do fine, Errand.
That's sweet.
Have you spoken with Alva yet?
Yeah, when she's not reading the archives like a giddy kid drinking her first ale. She took to that new focus quick, that's for sure. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. But I can see why you two hit it off.
I should get going.
As soon as you want us heading out to those cauldrons.
I'll give you the heads up.
Nice. A bit more short and sweet, so it's not a constant repetition of, so what about this, so what about this, so what about this. I think I prefer it this way.
Maybe speak? Welcome back.
Good to be back. Have you met our new Quinn guest yet?
I could barely keep up as she gave herself a tour of the base. Varl gave her a new focus. Though when he told her she was free to access all the data we had here, she turned so pale I thought she'd faint on the spot. We showed her to the archive room so she could see for herself. She hasn't left the place since.
Sounds like Alva.
Oh, I also wanted to give you this. For helping with the land gods. Plainsong is in your debt.
Thank you, Zo.
You deserve much more for all you've done. May the land always bloom in your steps.
And yours?
Yeah, that was a nice sentiment though. The land gods made whole. So there's even more questing for her. I didn't realize. Okay.
Read anything interesting lately?
I found out the old ones use leaf infusions like the Utaru do. Tea, they call it. Apparently it helped soothe them. That and some sort of scented wax they used to cleanse their aura. Plus something called bubble baths. Me, I think I'll stick to singing to calm the nerves.
Yeah, love my tea.
Varl looks pretty focused.
He's been obsessing over the data revealed to us by Poseidon. Just the other day, we read about mountains hiding deep underwater that spew fire. If I understand correctly, Gaia said the flames they release come from the very center of the earth. Like a heart, beating with the life of the world. As always, the cycle can be found in even the most unlikely of places. Of course, Varl's mostly interested in watching explosions happen underwater.
I assume you've been looking into Demeter now that Gaia's merged with it?
Yes. It's been humbling to know that the seeds I carry in this pouch came in turn from the seeds saved for Demeter in the old world. It gives me hope that the cycle of life will prevail now, just as it did before.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How are things with everyone?
Slightly quieter. Aaron's been busy scouring data on his newest obsession. Apparently the old ones wrestled machines as some kind of performance. Called it metal versus meat. A must-see battle between steel and flesh, as Aaron likes to put it. You'd think we have enough of that going around as it is.
Some things little boys never grow out of. Let's trigger this as well.
How to go with the chorus after we fix the land gods?
They were shocked when I told them that our lands would soon be on the mend. I thought Fane's eyes would pop out of his head. But of course they had no choice but to take it as good news, even if it meant all their preaching about meekly accepting our doom was exposed as rot. To be honest, I found the conversation to be highly enjoyable.
I'm glad. You deserve it. They're lucky that you never gave up on saving them.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, cool. I thought that was going to trigger off like another quest, but we're done.
I need to get going.
Right. You've retrieved the Omega clearance. That means we'll be going after Hephaestus soon. I'll make sure my gear's ready.
Yeah, these conversations have been flowing a lot better this time around, thankfully. Now, I've got to find the data room. I still don't know the navigation of this place that well. There she is.
Aloy!
Right to work, I see.
There's just so much. I mean, we knew of artificial beings that served the ancestors, but Gaia? Oh, she's amazing! And you, a true reincarnation of an ancestor. Genetically speaking, of course, not like the, late CO. And there's more ancestors out there, returned from beyond the stars. Of course, they're trying to kill us, which is not great. And Eric Visser is with them, which is disturbing. And then there's Hephaestus, and...
Okay. How about we take it one step at a time?
You're right. I also owe you an explanation for everything that happened at Landfall.
Okay, let's talk. Oh, okay. Right, we've got a lot of conversation. Let's go bottom right anti-clockwise. Well, within this one I don't care too much, but let's just start here.
You said you owed me an explanation for what happened in Thebes. I'm listening.
Right. I'll start at the beginning with the CO. He was an Imperial, the Emperor's nephew, in fact. As such, he sponsored many diviners to search the legacy for anything that might help the tribe, and himself. He took a special interest in anything related to Ted Faro, whom we consider the greatest of the ancestors.
Ted Faro, revered ancestor. That's tough to take.
I know better now, of course. Anyway, the diviners discovered that Faro spent a great deal of time in San Francisco. In fact, many of the most important ancestors did. So the Emperor's nephew convinced him that an expedition across the ocean might solve our most pressing problems. If only we could find the right data in this fabled city. Perhaps we could roll back the floods and storms that threatened our people. The Emperor declared that all the tribe's resources be poured into this endeavor. Dozens of ships were built, scouting missions were dispatched, and the Emperor's nephew was named CO, one who wields the legacy for the good of the Empire, the living embodiment of Ted Faro, a renewer. It may seem strange now, but for a time, he carried all of our hopes. We really believed he would save us. We had no idea just how perilous the journey would be.
You said the expedition across the sea was more dangerous than you thought it would be. What happened?
We lost most of our ships to hurricanes, and scores of soldiers perished to hunger and disease. And that was before we even hit the coast. Once we landed, machines ripped our patrols apart, and we struggled to replenish our rations. There were bright spots, to be sure. We found Thebes and the greenhouse. But nothing improved the CO's mood as his dreams of saving the tribe were slowly dashed. He became more and more obsessed with Thebes and what lay behind its door. And more convinced that the title of CO was no mere honorific. You heard him, spouting nonsense about Pharaoh's essence and some kind of becoming. We knew these weren't the words of a sane man, but he was quick to put any who spoke out in front of a firing squad.
What a great guy.
The Quinn are wrong about many things when it comes to the legacy. I can see that now. But what the CO became was a complete perversion of what principal diviners stand for. The pursuit of truth. I'm sorry you had to endure his madness. I'm just glad it's over. For everyone.
I will say that I found Alva a little bit annoying at the start, but the way that she's like narrated and told the story here, I don't know, I feel like she's delivered it really well. really well voice acted, and it's so much more dynamic again when they're talking and stuff. It just doesn't feel as sort of wooden now anymore. So fair play, man. I'm enjoying actually listening to this.
Back at the greenhouse, you spoke of knowledge forbidden to your people.
Diviners are meant to seek out the truth in the legacy, and many Imperials sponsor them in the hopes they'll find something the Empire can put to use, thus gaining favor with the Emperor. But the Board of Overseers claims certain truths are detrimental to the stability of the Empire, like discovering one of our revered ancestors ended the world. That is why Diviners are only allowed to access segments of the legacy. Only Overseers can view it all. It ensures that any heretical data can be contained and retrieved before it can spread.
What happens to Diviners who break the rules?
I never had the courage to ask.
Yeah, so that means that Bohai really knew what was going on, and obviously once CO died, Bohai didn't seem all that upset by it, and he knew exactly what the score was, and I guess that's because he had access to all the data.
So Bohai, your overseer, will he run things better than CO?
He won't execute people on a whim, if that's what you mean.
Yes.
But he's hardly a paragon of integrity. I can't tell you how many times he took credit for data in the legacy that I uncovered. The best thing I can say about him is that he can be trusted to always do what's best for him.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah, it's always the same.
The ancestors, is that what your people call the old ones?
Yes and no. The ancestors are the greatest of the old ones. Those whose legacy taught us agriculture, medicine, warfare, leadership, and patronage of the science and arts.
The CO called Elizabeth Sobek an assistant. What's that about?
Right. Well, any old one who has made minor contributions or worked extensively under one of the ancestors is called an assistant. That's how we thought of Sobek, until we met you. Our limited access to data past the late 2040s has obviously misinformed our view of the past.
Yeah, that's why history and preservation is so important, man, and we're doing it accurately. That's why that kind of stuff always worries me for the future, about like stuff that happened not in our lifetimes and that's going to happen in future generations. If they look back and they see that the information, the history of that stuff has been like manipulated, deleted, all that kind of stuff, it's going to completely shape the societies of the future. And that's kind of what like MGS used to touch on, like MGS2, MGS4. So it's definitely scary stuff, and you can see how it affects the Quinn in the future in this story.
You mentioned the reason you came here was to help your family. Your sister...
Her name is Alika. Our parents are commoners, peasants, really. When I passed the divination exams, they were so proud. It brought honor to our family and increased rations. Only Alika begged me not to leave for the research academy.
Why? What happens there?
Alika knew that once you enter, you're not allowed to leave or see anyone, not even your family. Unless you can get special permission and an escort by an overseer.
It sounds harsh.
Like the focuses we keep, Diviners are few in number, and the Empire is, well, fearful that outsiders will try to steal our knowledge. Last time I was allowed to see my family was just before our voyage here. Because of my position, I was able to get them refuge from the floods within the capital. But if our crops don't recover soon, they'll starve to death along with everyone else.
I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that.
Nice, that was a good conversation.